welcome to the Sanctuary, a safe space to speak from the heart. I'm your host, Israel, and my guest today is Jayden Austin, a super talented artist, and I've been dying to talk to you. I remember we first kind of talked indirectly when I was working on my film Family Over Fame,
Yeah,
and I was like, we should set this up. And this was like, we're about to set it up, and then COVID happened, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
now that I'm doing virtual, we have to make it happen. Thanks for coming on the show today.
yeah. No problem. Thank you for having me. Sure. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
so let's start with music. Like, what
hmm
kind of music did you grow up with?
Grow up with. Um, my mom and my daddy, they're really into like 90s R&B. That's kind of like really what I grew up. They loved R. Kelly, like Janet Jackson, all that 90s R&B. Um, Especially like my dad was really into like Tupac, like the 90s rap. So a lot of that. Also like country music, believe it or not. Like my mom was real into country music. I can
Mm,
remember some other stuff I grew up on, like being like 8 years old, maybe. I can't even remember, but going to my nan's house, we always stayed at my nan's house, and all my cousins were always there. And like T.I.'s album, Paper Trails, was coming out at the time. So like whatever you like, all them old T.I. songs, all them old
yeah.
Lil Wayne songs, like that era, definitely inspired me as well growing up.
And then, at what point did you start writing music? Or like, at what point did you start writing music? Let's start with writing music first.
Writing music. So like
Yeah.
it's funny, when I was like, oh sorry, that's in my phone. When I was like 5 years old, I wrote like my first song. My
Holy
mom,
shoot!
yeah, my
Wow.
mom like taped it on the fridge. So like I guess like forever, really, I've always written. When I was in like elementary school, I really liked writing stories, writing poems, and
Yeah.
as I grew up and my taste for music changed, and I began like liking what I liked, I was like, well, I could do this too, and I already had been writing, so I just applied. So like always, I guess to answer your question, I
Pretty
always
much.
wrote
And
music.
then, when did it become okay? This is something I'd like to do.
Yeah, so I guess when I like I don't want to call it taking it serious because I don't think I really did that necessarily. But when I realized that at some point I could take this serious, I think I was in like seventh grade. Me and my friends, they came up into like we were just chilling in my room, and one of my buddies was going through my stuff, just being nosy, and he found like some songs I wrote, and he was like, "Oh, like we'll do this too, we'll rap too," and then they kind of just started like from there. It was like, okay, well, I started like I was rapping first, so I feel like I'll show you guys the ropes. So I started booking the studio down in the library. We would go record there, and they would come with me, and that was when I really decided like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. Like I
Mm.
went definitely like we had to do an orientation in the studio, and we just spent like 45 minutes in there, just like learning how to turn things on, do things like that, and like I think from that moment on, like I was in love with the whole everything, everything.
And would you make beats, or where would you get your beats?
I try making beats. I play around with it, but for the most part, like um, I have a little system where like I use YouTube. It's really accessible, so I just go there. I'll find something I like. I use those beats almost as reference beats, and I'll get like Jordan Metro, crazy producer, Luke Berryman, crazy producer. Those are two producers I worked really close with, and
Mm.
if I can bring like a reference beat to them, and they can make something similar, something with the same kind of vibe that I'm looking for, and
Hmm.
then I get to pay them, people I know, and keep the
Yeah,
money,
yeah,
keep the
yeah,
money with us.
yeah. Do you remember the first actual song like you recorded?
Um, yeah, I do actually. So it's actually this is so like the song is actually still on YouTube under my old rap name. Um,
What is the name and what's the song called?
my old rap name was Nova Scotian Prince, and the song was called Love Shot, and that was actually that song that me and my two friends wrote after they found my raps in my room. This song we wrote, and we went to the
What was
studio.
the song about?
It was just about girls. We were like 13. We thought we knew everything, so so yeah.
So, you made that song. How was that experience for you, to like start a song, didn't exist before, put it on a beat, record it, and then put it out there? How was that experience for you?
It was cool, man. And the coolest part about all of it was that we did everything ourselves. I mean, except for the beat, but like we were 13 years old. We just went into the studio, mixed our own songs, like made our own artwork, released it ourselves, promoted it ourselves, and that was cool. That was a real cool feeling. I think that's when I realized the route that I want to take with independence, and yeah, like being able to do everything myself, learning every angle of it. It's funny.
Mhm.
The first time we recorded that song, I deleted all the files by accident.
No!
I
What
was
did your friends do, and why did you
Oh, they
delete it
weren't
first
happy.
off?
They weren't
And
happy.
what did your
I
friends
didn't
do?
know. I didn't know what I was doing. I guess I didn't save it properly. The files all
Oh
deleted,
no!
and yeah, my friends weren't happy. We went back in like a week or two later, re-recorded it.
Which to you, honestly, which version was better though? The first one or the one you recorded?
The re-recorded version was better. Yeah, definitely better. Well, we figured
Mm.
like I think it was more so like if we were so in love with this song, we wouldn't have accidentally deleted it. We would have been so cautious. So like I
Mm.
think we wanted to create something that no matter what, we're gonna protect this. Looking back, it's definitely not like that anymore. But at the time, we thought we were really onto something.
So you finish the song, get it out there. Did you like have a show right away, or how did you get into performing at shows?
So, my very first performance was actually for that song. Yes, it
Mm.
was right after. In the same library we recorded in. This the Halifax Central Library. So they're real big on. They have a whole floor for youth, and we used to just man, we'd be there. They got Xboxes there, so we'll go play the Xbox until it's our time to go into the studio. And then right by the Xboxes, they had this whiteboard with like a schedule of events that was coming up, and one of them was like a talent show. And we were like, well, man, we just recorded a song. Like, what better way, So we signed up for the talent show. Um, yeah, it was my first performance. I remember there's 16 people there, and like five of them was my family.
how did that feel?
I, Even though there were 16 people, it was still like I was nervous, definitely nervous. But in the end, like it was accomplishing. Like that was a milestone. Like at the age that we were at, we didn't know what we were
Mhm.
doing. We just knew that this is what we wanted to do, and that was cool. That was cool.
And how's it progressed from that show? Like, what was the next thing that happened?
Next thing that happened, I think the next big thing that I can remember is when I joined Artpreneurs with Youth Art Connection, and that was when I wanted to turn my art into a business, and learn how to like how can I get more people to listen to my music? How can I get more people to come out to my shows? Things like that.
Mm.
Had to learn how to build a brand. And
Hmm.
so this was a like 6 week business course with Youth Art Connection, and Chevy Price taught it, which is amazing. That's a power move in its own because Chevy doesn't even do that anymore. But to be able to say like Chevy Price um, taught me for 6 weeks on how to do this, that's big. That was cool.
What
So
what did the 6 weeks involve? And first though, before you go into that, how did you get into the program?
I got in this program because family friend sent me the link because she had known Chevy. They were friends. They knew each other. So she sent me the link to apply. I didn't really know what it was, to be completely honest. I sent in I sent in my application. Um, I got a call back. I think it was like a week later, but I didn't know that it was Chevy calling me. I thought it was my friend on the phone because I just had a host phone. I didn't have like cell phone. I couldn't see who was calling. So I answered the phone and I was like half asleep and I was just like, why? And they were like, oh, this is you. Yeah, like this is Youth Art Connection. Like we're just calling you back for Artpreneurs. So yeah, and that's how I got into it. The 6 weeks consisted of like, so the idea of it was we wanted to organize our business plan in the most like simple way possible. Like how can we take all of our ideas and organize them and make them work really.
Mhm.
So we spent 6 weeks. We worked on the first thing we worked on, which I think actually like as I grow, it makes more sense to me, which was your values, because they would always say to you
Ah.
like before you can do anything else, you need to know what you value. What won't you sacrifice? You know.
Well, so what did you find out? Are your values during this program?
Um, I feel like I don't think I understood it fully when I was in the program. I was only like 15 at the time. I think as I grow up, I always come back to it though. That's the one module actually that I always come back to because it's like now I realize like I'll never sacrifice my loyalty for music. I'll never sacrifice my sound for a bigger audience. Um, I'll never compromise any of my morals, any things I believe in for this dream.
Mm.
So you have to know these things before you just jump into something.
Yeah,
So that
the
was the
arts
most
like
important one.
to me, I think once you understand your values, it makes making decisions really easy.
Yes.
Cause like if it doesn't align with your value, it's
Hmm.
like I'm not
Just
doing
get
it.
out of
Like you
here.
don't have to
Exactly.
overthink. It's like is it taking me closer to where I'm going? That is it in line with my values? Yes, no, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So like it was things like that. So we started with values, and then we built up from there. Um, who's our team? What's our budget? What do we need to do this business plan? And at the end of the 6 weeks, we went to McGinnis and Cooper Law Firm, and then we went to Alter Egos, and we got to do what was called an art acceleration. We got to present our art, so I got to perform in front of two different crowds, and we got to mingle with the people there, introduce ourselves, and just really like start building connections in the network.
Nice, nice. Yeah, networking is another thing that's really, really important.
Yes, yes, it's an
What is
art.
your
It's an art.
approach? Yeah, what is your approach when it comes to networking?
Um, I don't. I still don't feel like I'm the best networker. I feel like there's work to be done, but I feel like the things that help me most are being outgoing. Like you have to be cool to say hi to anybody. And another thing that I feel like gets a lot of people, and I say that because it got me for a long time, was like the anxiety of walking up on a random person and just, hey, I'm Jayden, I do this, come see me perform. People get anxiety about that, but it's just a fact of understanding. Most places you go to network, that's what you're there for. That's what you're supposed to do in this profession, in any profession. That's what you're supposed to do. People expect it, and yeah, just you have to understand that you have to embrace networking. Your network is your network.
Hmm. Yeah, what songs did you perform for your showcase for that premiere?
I did this song called "The Come Up" that Connie Ross remixed afterwards, actually, and we ended up shooting a video. Um, I performed that one because that was my single at the time. I think that was the only song I performed at the showcases. It wasn't necessarily like a musical event. It was more so like a presentation of art. So we
Hmm.
each got this little here's your little bit of time, say your pitch your art, you know, see what you can do.
What was some of the how many people were in that program, and what was some of the art that they created?
Sorry.
What were like how many people else were in the cohort that you were part of,
Hmm.
and what are some of the things that they created during the program?
Okay, so there was about I want to say 10 people, give or take a couple. And we created a lot of things. Like there was graphic designers in there, like visual artists. There was singers, rappers, um, what else do we have? I knew we had something else.
Mm.
We had like directors and filmmakers. So
Ah.
we all come together. I know we designed like we would do logos for each other. Like the graphic designers would do some logos, and we ended up making business cards. All of us got business cards with our own logos that corresponded with the brand we were building and creating.
Mm.
Um, yeah, things like that. Like we really just created like our brands. Well, at least like the foundation for our brands.
Mm. And how many years ago was this?
3 now, maybe.
Uh,
It's been a
apart from
while.
the yeah. Apart from the value thing that you got out of that program,
Hmm.
what was something else? What are all some things that also stood out for you taking part of Artpreneurs?
Um, like I said, definitely the connections and the networking. That was a big one. That was a really
Mm.
big one. I don't think a lot of people realize how crucial that is to anything you're doing. Just who you know. You know what I mean? That was a big one. Learning how to organize your thoughts in the way that we did. We had like it was like I think 9 boxes, and each box was a different thing that you would brainstorm about, and then you would take your brainstorm and put it on like a real piece of like an actual planned out piece of paper. So just organizing your thoughts in that way, as opposed to
Mm.
having one idea and just trying to like do it all in your head. We put our thoughts down
Mm.
on paper, we broke them down,
Mm-hmm.
and made it all make sense. Um, I could go on all day about entrepreneurs. That was a great program. Like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then you build that foundation through the program. Once the program was done, what are some of the things you applied moving forward till now?
So now I kind of hmm, that the values thing. I always come back to that. I think, like I said, as I've grown older, I always come back to that. I always like think about that and what does that mean to me, because that can change all the time. As you grow, your values change, your morals change, things like that. So I always come back to that. I definitely always apply that one. Like you said, making decisions. Like if the decision's not in line with your values, then it's got to go. Um, that networking thing, definitely. Now I feel more comfortable to come out and be like, hey, I'm Jayden Austin. Like I'm a hip hop artist. This is what I do. How is your day going? Things like that. I mean, I've offered people like I've met people and offered to take them out for coffee and things like that. Just having I feel like it really just gave me like the confidence, right? Like
Mm.
they sat there with me and they were like, when I would write my bio and my bio wasn't good enough, they would sit there with me and be like, no, this isn't good enough. You can do better. We know you can do better. And just having people constantly tell you that, constantly be in your corner and on your side. That
Mm.
was that was a big one. That just gave me that
Yeah.
confidence. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a great thing having someone in your corner, knowing okay, I can reach out to these people
Hmm.
if X is going on. Um, but let's go back to last year. Usually around winter is thawing, we're getting to spring, everybody's preparing for festivals in the summer. Um, were you preparing for that? And if you were, once the lockdown and COVID happened, how did you like what changed and how did you adapt?
So during around all this time, like aside from the music and everything, like there's personal things going on too. Around the beginning of last year, and so my plan from like I think the end of January, right before all of this happened, was like, okay, I'm just gonna ignore all this extra stuff, all these things that are living in my head rent free. I'm just gonna ignore those, and I'm gonna tunnel vision focus on my music. Um, all the things I guess that I'm kind of planning to do this year, I was kind of planning to do last year. Um, I feel like for myself though, I kind of let COVID be more an excuse. We can all
In what
adapt.
way?
Um, you don't need to be outside to release music. So there's no excuse for that. And I feel like a lot of us did. Feel like a lot of us did that. But you know, um, I had to adapt. Like I realized, I think like a month or two in, like okay, this is here to stay. Like I got to do something, and I started going to the studio until the studio closed. Then I set up a mic in my room, started recording in my room and sending my stems in until the studio opened back up. Now we're back in the studio. I took the time to really like go back to some of the things we learned in entrepreneurs, like especially the value part, and think about like, okay, when I come out and I say this is Jayden Austin, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
I sat with that question for a while, and I feel like I'm in a place now where I understand that, at least for the time being.
So what does it mean then? Or what was the conclusion you came to?
I don't think it was any one conclusion. I feel like it was more a feeling than an answer, if that makes sense. You know, like I feel
Mm-hmm.
more comfortable in my body, more comfortable. Like I know who I am more when I go outside. When I look in the mirror, I know who I am. So I feel like I'm confident now to release music, talking about who I am, talking about where I've been, what I've done, things I've seen, things
So am I hearing that, you have this stem sent to the studio, you went in the studio. Is that like a record is coming?
Yeah, so I'm working on an EP. That's what we got coming. I'm planning. I don't want to make any promises, but we are pushing to get it out as soon as possible. We're working real hard on it. Um, and yeah, it's actually called "This Is Jayden Austin," and it's just
Oh, I see. I
genuinely an
see what you I
introduction.
see. I see what
You
you're
see what
talking
you?
about.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
many
So
songs gonna be on your EP?
I got 6 songs.
Oh,
We broke it
fripp.
down to
Why
six.
don't you just call it an album? Because these days, like, you go on Spotify, like, it's 4 songs and they call it an album now.
um, I don't think I'm album ready yet. I think the difference between an album and an EP, like you said, because it's not only about the length anymore. So I think that the real difference is the the detail. Maybe I want to say,
Mm,
an
mm,
album is really like, not that this EP doesn't have a lot of detail and a lot of things to look forward to, but I feel like when I do an album, you're gonna hear the difference. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
You're gonna know what a Jayden Austin album sounds like compared to a Jayden Austin EP.
And then you're still, oh, the beats is still Jordan Metro and Luke. What was the other person?
Luke Berryman, yeah. So
Yeah?
we got how many Jordan beats? 3 Jordan beats I think on there. So far, I think I got one beat from Luke, but I think I'm getting another beat from Luke for it. I think he's gonna remake one of the beats I already have, and then one of the beats is just actually a beat I just got off YouTube. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't sound like just a YouTube type beat. It just sounded real. It is cool. I like it. I like it a lot. So I just decided to keep it. I think it fits real well with the vibe of the project.
Okay, so you know what? Whenever I talk to artists these days, most of them is like, "Oh man, I heard that bit on YouTube." So, do I just literally go on YouTube and just search hip hop beat or something like this?
That's not what I do. So a lot of people do that. Like, well, I did do that when I would go record at the library. Like, I would search up like just an artist I liked. Like at the time, I was real into like, because it was like 2016, so I was like liking Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi, and so I would search up like Lil Yachty type beat, and I would just like find beats that sound similar to his beats and use those. Nowadays, I genuinely like skim. I'll scroll through YouTube. It doesn't matter what type of beat it is. I want, like, I've heard beats from YouTube producers that, like, they don't even have an artist type beat. It's just got a name and you would have never even known it was a beat.
Mm.
Um, I dig deep for my beats. I'm real picky with my beats. So what I do is like, there's also a handful of YouTube producers that I personally like that I subscribe to that I'll just consistently go to them.
Mm.
But other than that, yeah, I just scroll. I don't necessarily search for anything specific.
Okay, I'll check it out. Cause like, yeah, beats.
There's some good producers on there. There's some good
Yeah,
producers on
yeah.
YouTube. Can't lie.
I think what opened my eye to it is there's this artist and he's not here anymore, but he took a beat from like a YouTube producer and then he had some saxophone on it and his name is Brian Colton, I think. But that song, oh my god, it's so good. And then I was like, okay, so you can actually just go, and then you like take kind of this sound you like, and then make it into something like your own. And that is what one thing I love about art, right? Because
Hmm.
there's no original thing anymore. You just take this thing you like, but then you put elements of yourself in
Hmm.
it. And
For
that's what I
real,
love
yeah,
about
yeah.
creating
It's like
music, art, things like
mhm.
this.
I compare it a lot to like painting. I always compare it to painting when you mix colors, you make different colors. So it's the same thing we do with music, really, especially hip hop. Hip hop
Mm.
comes from like jazz and soul music and poetry combined, and we've created. I mean, we've done millions of different things with it at this point. So yeah,
Oh my
it's like
god,
mixing
yeah.
colors. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your process anyway? Like, do you write the lyrics first before you get the beat? Do you get the beat first? Then you're like, oh, this is what I'll write to it. Do you get the title or the vibe of the song? How do you write your songs?
Um, it's different every time. Like when I'm with other people, I feel like the
Mm-hmm.
process, especially, there's no set process. It just kind of you go with the flow. When I'm alone, cause I write a lot. Like I'm a writer at heart, so I write a lot. When I'm home and like just writing alone, usually I'll like it's weird. Like it changes. Sometimes I have a whole page in my phone of just random bars that I was just sitting there one day. Maybe I was watching TV, maybe I was driving down the street, walking down the street, whatever it be, and I just thought of this line, had to write it down. And then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll take those lines and just see what I if I can create a whole song out of it. Or sometimes I'll find a beat and then I'll just like start humming along to find a cool flow. And then once I find
Mm-hmm.
the flow, I fill in the blanks with words. Or like if I get stuck on something, like I said, I have that whole page in my phone where I can just take a random line and throw that in.
Ah.
So yeah, like the process switches a lot, but it's a lot of genuinely just like genuinely like most of the time, if you were to sit here and watch me write, what would mostly happen is I'd probably find a beat I like, download it to my phone, write one line, and then write like eight more lines off of that. But then I'd go back to the beginning and I start picking apart each line and make each line like perfect. Like I'm very, very, very like very picky with my writing. Like I sit there and I'll yeah
Mm.
make it sound flawless. Like I'm big on that.
So I mean, you did a Purdue project. You did the acceleration. Is that, did I get the name right?
Yeah, yeah. I think it was
Yeah.
acceleration. I think so.
And then now you're working on your EP.
Hmm.
What else support do you have from your parents, like from your family in general? Or do you ever have any pushback? You have to have like a plan B, or like go to.
Um, no, actually, my family is really supportive of what I do. I think
Mm-hmm.
where I come from, any dream is a dream, man. Like, I was like the first one in my family to like graduate high school, so that was good right there. I'm good right there. The fact that like my dream is to go and do these big things and touch people with my music instead of doing what everyone else does. Yeah, no, they're proud of that. I feel like sometimes maybe they don't they don't necessarily see things the way I do. Like, but I don't think anybody could. I see things like, you know,
In
I'm
what
I'm
way?
like I think some people are scared to dream as big as me.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people see big dreams as like intimidating or hard to reach, but they're not. They're just big. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like, I'm exactly that way. I
For
don't know. I always tell my friends, I don't know how to dream small. Like my dream has to be like, holy shit, am I
yeah,
gonna
like
do
when you
that?
hear that, you're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, 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 exactly,
Right.
exactly. But one thing that I do is that, so I have this big dream, but I'm also willing to put in the work.
Exactly.
Like I put in the time over and over again, because there's no way to even achieve half of what I want to do if I'm not working my behind off.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, they're big dreams for a reason, right? You can't just snap your fingers and have them.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
gotta
Mm-hmm.
go out there and get it.
So yeah. Now, when you think, do you kind of have like a date the EP will be ready?
I don't have one yet. I'm close. Like, I'm real close, but I made the mistake of like making promises before that didn't end up being kept for one reason or another. And so until we are 100% certain on what we're doing and when we're dropping it, I'll just say it's coming soon. It's coming soon. Definitely soon.
Are you gonna release any singles or
Yeah,
just the EP straight? Oh, okay.
I'm planning on like, yeah, we're gonna have singles. We're gonna have singles for sure. It's gonna be a
Okay.
whole
So at
roll
least,
of
do you have a date for a single?
a date for a single. Let's say I won't give a specific date, but the beginning of summer we'll have a single.
Okay. 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 Okay.
By then
Do
at
you know
least
what song
it'll be
is gonna be
sooner.
the lead single for This Is Jayden Austin?
Yeah, I can give that up. So the song is gonna be called No Bitch. That's gonna
You
be
know
my
what?
lead. No Bitch.
What's the song about?
Shit. How would I explain what the song's about? The song's just about like, when people see what you got and they want what you got, but you worked for what you had, and so what you have is yours. So no, bitch, you can't have my shit.
Yeah. I thought it might be that. I thought it might be that. Okay, well, at least I have something, to look forward for in the
Mhm.
next couple of weeks. In the
Yeah, we're
next
gonna have
couple of weeks.
visuals with it. We're gonna have a whole rollout. Like, there's gonna be lots to look forward to with the EP. We're doing it the right
Oh.
way. We're doing it the right way for
Oh.
sure.
So like, do you have a team or is it like just you?
I would say I got a team. Yeah, I don't necessarily like. We don't got a name. Like, I don't have no like specific members in my team, but I think the people around me are my team. I have people who
Mm.
like I can bounce ideas off of. I don't have no yes men around me. Just have people who genuinely want to see me do the best. And so I
Yeah.
think that's my team in itself. I still work actually. I work with Youth Art Connection still. I work with Maj. Me and Connie's cool. Like, me and Connie could always do some work together. I love Connie. That's family. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I
You
definitely
know,
would say I got a team.
yeah, something that keeps coming up is this whole family thing. Team, family. You mentioned Connie, you mentioned Yuda Connection, Marjay, and I remember when we were making Family Over Fame. One core question I asked was like, what does like that line mean to you? I can't remember word for word what you said. 'Cause it's like 3 years ago now,
Yes, a minute ago, yeah.
but I guess, why is family important to you?
You see, like, I'm older now, so like I feel like my answer's gonna change a bit, but that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Family to me is like, who's there when it seems like no one's there. Sometimes, I guess for me anyway, like, I get in a real bad habit. I get stuck in my head a lot. It sometimes feels like no one's there, but when you take that step back and you look around, who's actually there, and that's your
Mm.
family. I feel like my family changing every day. That's cool. I don't really just like consider family the people that I was born with, or like whatever. Obviously, those are my family, but I got plenty of people who's my family who don't even, some people
Mm.
don't even know my mom, and I call them family. Like,
Oh yeah, so Roses from Concrete, this show is happening. Do you want to tell me a bit about it?
yeah. So it's at the Derby. This is cool actually. So last time I was there, I was underage, and my paperwork wasn't 100% in order, so I wasn't able to perform. Now it's discouraging, but we didn't let it stop us, and here we are, like, geez, like 2 years later, maybe around then, and yeah, I'm legal now. So 19 plus, have your ID at the door, cause I will. Yeah, for
What are
real.
some things you have planned for Roses from Concrete?
I like to. Well, this is a big show for me. This is my first 19 plus show, and like I said, like, it feels like a full circle moment because of the venue. So I have I have a couple of songs off my EP I'm gonna do, which I
Mm-hmm.
usually don't do. I usually don't do that, but I'm gonna do that this time. Um, I wrote a whole new song just to celebrate the moment, you know, and then we got a couple remixes there too, so some people can recognize some of the beats. And yeah,
Wow.
so
Wow.
we're gonna turn it up. Yeah.
Oh man, Jayden, I'm having just a great time, man. It's great to see this, this progression that you've been making just in the last couple
Thank
of
you.
years. I've seen you perform a couple of times, but it's like you have this work ethic where each show is like better than the last one, each like better
Hmm.
than the last one. Is that something you put in, like, is that something you work on, or how do
Oh
you
yeah.
achieve that?
Um, I am big on providing an experience instead of just a performance. You know, I want you to leave with you want you take something away. I don't think that necessarily means I gotta perform like deep or sad songs, but you're gonna remember that I was on stage when I leave. So I take a lot of time to work on that. I always think like I learned this at Remix when Remix did a workshop here, and they told us like treat your fans the way you would want your idol to treat you. And
Mm.
so I'm really big on that. I want every time you come to my show, I don't disappoint. Like I do, like the audience wants more by the time I get off. So I work on that all the time. I practice my songs. I'll sit in my room and just like dance around. I'll practice in front of friends. See like, do you like this? Do you like this? I bring my friends to my shows, so like after my show, they can tell me
Mm.
like what did I do wrong. Last time I
Mm.
performed, I got somebody to record the whole thing, and I watched it
Mm-hmm.
after like the basketball players do, and I was just like
Yeah.
watching like what did I like, what did I not like, and what am I gonna do different next time. So yeah, I definitely work on that.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense because it's like, oh man, each performance is bigger than the previous one, and not just like with size, but just there's the vibe that you bring to it.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on the show today. But
thank you
before
for
you
having me.
go,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this though: how the EP comes out, what next?
We're not I haven't released music since last summer, so my promise to everybody, and I'm gonna say this for the record, is that once this EP drops, we're not literally gonna stop. Like consistency is key. We're gonna be on there every day. Um, I'm not gonna say any like specific plans yet, but just believe that like it's not gonna stop.
Mm.
Hmm.
Wow, Jaden, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
The Roses from Concrete happens. I think later today, April 2nd at the Derby. Uh, and yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be an awesome time. Thank you so much for coming on the show,
And
and
thank you
I
for having me.
really cannot wait to have you back.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
How many times do I have to tell y'all don't come in my yard, don't fuck with my dogs? How many times am I gonna have to slide just to tell this bitch no, you can sit in my car? How many times do I have to co-sign on another man call? Man, I'm sick of my job. They ask me for these brand new things like they ain't got shit, like they just got robbed. So I say no, bitch, you get